So tell us a little bit, for those people unfamiliar with the variety, tell us a little bit about what this brings to the glass.
Yeah, it's, Tardana, it's so impressive because it's the last grape we harvest of all.
Oh, really? Okay.
We harvest all the reds, the white, the first whites, Coloradillo, Macabeo, and all the reds. And at the end of October, we harvest Tardana. So it's not a late harvest wine. It's not a late harvest grape, but it is a late ripening grape.
So it just takes that long to reach that phenolic ripeness that you're after, right?
That's it, because it begins the veraison, the change of the color, the ripening
Yep.
process. It begins it in September.
I see.
So in August, it's totally green. It's totally green. It begins the veraison in September. So here, as I said before, temperatures go down in September. It's because of that continental climate. And days get shorter. So the ripening process is very, very, very slow. And at the end, you get wines with 12 degrees
Yep.
alcohol,
Yep.
11 and a half, totally ripened, the grape. It's not, we don't make a harvest before. We harvest the grapes when they are already ripened, and we understand that it's, uh, they are perfect for harvesting. And that's the point, the reach of sugar. And that's a reason why also it's a grape that right now is in risk of being extinguished, because people doesn't want the vineyards doesn't want to wait so long for
Yeah.
harvesting a grape, that if they have to bring it to the cooperative where they are paid depending on the alcoholic degree and the kilograms that they bring, it's not worthy. On the other hand, for making wines now that you got freshness, you get minerality, you get another things, and balance, and so in bottle, it's great.
Now, I'm not very familiar with this grape, but upon tasting it, I'm beginning to imagine it's one of those grapes that really does channel terroir and is influenced a lot by terroir, because the minerality that comes through on this is really quite enchanting. Would that be a fair enough observation? Because it seems to be one of those grapes, almost like Riesling in a way, that really does push the terroir into the glass.
And it's also true that sol, it comes from we work in two different landscapes. One landscape is the one of 700 meters altitude that I said before.
Mhm.
It's up here. And then the grapes that we have in the river Cabriel that I mentioned before because of the border, no? Those vines in the lawn of the river Cabriel, they are at 400 meters altitude. It's only 10 kilometers away, so
I see.
it's 400 kilometers, 400 meters altitude. It's surrounded by the mountains. On one side, the Valencian mountains of Requena, and on the other side, the Albacete mountains of Manchuela, So there's a microclimate where we always have between 3, 4, 5 degrees higher of
Yes.
temperature than up hills, because it's like in a hole surrounded by the mountains. And also here, the soil, it's limestone. It's white, it's chalk.
So there's no clay there. It's all limestone.
And there's limestone and the clay that it's white clay.
Ah, I
And
see.
also the texture, it's little river stones. So you get the humidity. It keeps the humidity because of the clay. But on the other side, but you know, it is the river there. And on the other side, because of the river stones, it never gets flooded. So it's fresh. The soil is fresh. And it's not, you don't get that fruitness of the red clay as you
Yes.
got in Bobal, but you get that how you say it, it's austere, you know, its minerality, its sapidity,
I can see that.
saltiness. There's you if you go now, because as it's been raining these days before, uh, there's humidity in the soil, and now with the sun, the soil, it brightens, you know. You see there's lots of minerals in the soil, and it brightens. It's great. But it's a Tardana, in this case, shows that we got another only one plot of Tardana uphills where you got that red soil, clay deep
Yes.
with big stones. And we make a wine uphills that it's a pet nut, an ancestral white. And in there you get fruitness, but you don't get deepness,
So it's
you know,
a different style of wine entirely.
totally different, totally.
Interesting. Now, what
So
a
yeah,
question for you with this wine. Where would you see this wine, the Tardana, the Sol, at the dinner table? What would this pair well with?
you know, we really enjoy it with uh, Asiatic food, Asian
Asian. Yep, Asian cuisine. Yes.
spices and so,
Yes.
and also with ceviche, you
Yes.
know,
Of course. Yeah.
ceviche, food that has high acidity with the wine really pairs very well, because in the analytics of the wine, it doesn't have high acidity, but you get it's a freshness feeling, but it's
Yes.
not acidity because it's acid.
I
So with
understand.
food that has high levels of acidity, it pairs very well because it's like balance.
Now, I'd be curious as to the vinification, how you make this Sol wine.
Sol, it's with Sol we do a very slightly maceration, some hours, and then well, the steam and pressed to the stainless steel tanks.
Yes.
And you know, as the soil is very poor in the terroir where we make it, at the final stage of the fermentation, it tends to get reduced a little
Yep.
bit, you know, because the yeast, the native yeast,
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
and what we do, we put it in clay pots, in the small clay pots of 300 liters, new
Okay.
ones,
Yep.
300 and so, just maybe for 1 week or so, 1, 2 weeks, and then it comes back to the stainless steel tank.
So just to get that little bit of microoxygenation going on and to stop that reductive side.
Yeah,
I
and that,
understand.
and then it comes back to the stainless steel tank, and it remains it in there during all the winter long, and then we bottle the wine, because we keep all the wines during the whole winter in the winery, in order to get profit of the low temperatures.
Yes, yes, yes.
So everything is settled down, as is a way for us to also see that when it comes the spring to the winery and temperatures rises and everything, we see that the stability of the wines, you know,
Yes.
because we don't use any addings. And for us, it's important to see that the wines are stable and they are fine and everything
I hear
before
you.
bottling.
Now, you do use a tiny little bit of sulfur just before bottling, right?
Yeah.
I think this is a good thing because otherwise they wouldn't taste as good as this when they get over here. Anna,
It, it's a matter, it will depend, it depends. We think that for those wines is perfect. There's a
yeah,
tiny, and there are others that we don't use anything. Well, the idea at the end is that you can enjoy the wine and feel where it comes from.
yes,
And in this case, maybe probably many of the people who are listening to us or watching us don't have never been where we are, but can feel a little bit of what I just try to introduce through the wines, no, the freshness and well,
absolutely
at least
wonderful.
identity.
Um, Anna, thank you so much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today. Hopefully, at some point in the not too distant future, you can come to Toronto and we can have a glass in person.
Of course, I'm really looking forward to it. Yes.
Superb. Well, have yourself a marvelous day, and we will catch up again at some point in the not too distant future. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.